Hello students, today we are going to finish up this house. We will be working with some site context, creating a site plan, developing property lines from bearings. We will also be working on ramps and finishing up the lesson with schedules. So the first thing we're going to do is property lines. Let's just go to the first floor plan to start this out. So your property line lives under massing and site, under property line. So when you click property line, it will say, how would you like to create the property lines? You can create by entering distances and bearings, and also you can create by sketching. So you can imagine that by sketching, there you go. Wonderful. Exactly what I wanted. That is a tool that's typically used if you are importing a CAD document and you know that that is exactly it, and perhaps you are tracing it from a DWG that someone else has already entered. Often people will give you a plan that looks sort of like this. So you will see some feet, some measurements, and some bearings. So instead of just tracing, just too easy, we're going to go ahead and try the bearings part. So discard, yes. Let's click back into property line and create by entering distances and bearings. Okay, here we go. So all of this information is what we will be entering. So you have the distance, you have that north-south. If you see right here, there is always this north, so that's associated with that. There is this degree, feet, inch method of showing the degree, and that's right here. And then east. And then you can also, if you had an arc, let's say a curb, you could change it to a curb. You could change the radius of the curb. And you can also change the direction of the line. So what we're going to do is going from this corner all the way around, we will enter these three numbers and then finish it with this number automatically being generated. This document will be available in the Canvas. So first thing, I'm just going to do some arranging. Can't see much here. Property lines, create by entering distances. Okay, so the first one is 165.81. Okay, so the first thing to note, sometimes people give you inches, sometimes it is like this. So 165.81, well, this one's feet and inches. So for me, I think the easiest way is just to do some quick calculations. I'm going to take 0.81 and convert that to inches times 12. That is 9.72 inches. So this distance is 165.9.72. Okay. If, I'll just go ahead and add another line. If I put 165.81, it would not be pleased. So we won't do that. 0. Fine. Delete. Anyways, so now it is north. Yes, we are going 86. 41. 1. East line. Correct. Now we need to do the next line. We need another row. Insert. 158.97. 158 right here. Go to the calculator. 0.97 times 12. 11.64. All right. It's going south. South. It is 7 degrees. 5:56. East line. Correct. Insert. Now we will do this one. 157. Okay, go do some math. What is 0.81 times 12? 972. And it is south. And it is 7. 9. 50. West. All right, so as you can imagine, moving around in this fashion will make it hard to just exactly calculate to that end to that end. I can imagine entering the system and it would probably miscalculate. So you can go ahead and just add line to close. And this is apparently the dimensions that are needed to close this. It is different from this number. I know that. That's not really important. I'm really curious about how this is going down. Southwest, southeast. Let's just see what happens. Let's click OK. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that this degree is way off. I'll update this number before I post this, but this is the general idea of how this works. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do after we've entered the property line is come up with a way to sort of develop a site plan. So as you can see here, we have a first floor plan, we have a roof plan, we have a second floor, but we don't have a site plan. So in this case, you do need to go and make a view. So let's go to View, Plan Views. Okay, so we want to create a site view. So what we will do, in order to get a floor plan over here that actually says site, the reason we want to do that is because these details are too small to be read. A site plan wouldn't have necessarily this information on it. So we want to create a separate view, just like our other views. So let's go ahead, go to the first floor plan, plan views, floor plan. What we really just want to do is duplicate a view and then modify the view graphics. So go ahead and unclick Do Not Duplicate Existing Views. And then you will be able to pick a view to duplicate. So let's go ahead and say first floor. Okay. Now you have first floor 1. We can come over here, right click on the name and rename it Site Plan. Super. The only thing that we need to do now is go ahead into our visibility graphics. So first off, site plans are usually not at 8th scale. They're much, larger scaled things. So let's just go ahead and say it's 1 foot, 1 inch to every 30 feet. So you can already see one of the biggest things that changes about this is the line weights. These dots are bigger. These elevation tags are way too big. Also not needed on this. What is this? An interior elevation. There's just a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. So we can go VG. And you can come over here and sort of make sure specific things are not on. So let's go down to lights. There's just some lights in there, some lighting devices. Probably don't need stairs. So cleaning this up. At the same time, I definitely want to get rid of these elevations. Go over to annotation categories, and now you can sort of get rid of specific tags. So elevations are not being useful right now. If you want to see how it's going, you can just hit apply. So railing stayed, this sweep stayed, keep on cleaning up. Like I'd get rid of railings, I'd get rid of, some of this stuff. So that's the general idea of setting up your site plan. You might also have to go and turn specific things on. So maybe, I know you all did topographies, this might be turned off. So you might have to turn your topography back on. Okay, so that's already looking much better. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and tag this property line. So under tags, it should automatically tag it. If not, you might need to load the family. But if you just click over it, it will give you that bearing that you entered, which is great. The next thing we're going to do is create an offset of 20 feet all around. So I will go into a model line under the architecture tab and just trace this around. I've already messed it up. Just go back and do a new one. Okay. Great. So now we want to offset this. So you can grab that line. You might have to tab to click on the line as a loop, not just an individual line. You can go up into offset, which is here. You will type the offset distance, and you can also unclick copy because otherwise we would have to go around and delete this. So if you hover over this, you'll see that's only offsetting one line. If you tab, it will offset all the lines. And then you can just click, and there you are. One thing we're going to want to do is, again, just tab to grab the whole thing and change this line style. In a plan, this would not be a solid line, it would be a hidden line. So we'll go ahead and do that. So this is our beautiful property line with tags, cleaned up a little bit plan with a property setback. The next thing we're going to work on is a ramp. So ramps are just like stairs, but also an important part of the user exam. So it's very straightforward. I'm just going to add a ramp from here to here, pretending that it's connecting to something like an outhouse, like a shed, perhaps a separate house, like an ADU or something. So similar to stairs, ramps are right here. You can see there's properties over here. As you can sort of imagine, I think it's default set to every 1 foot, it rises 1 inch. This is its default for the code conformity. So what we are going to go for is a base level at first floor. Sounds good. But we don't want the top level to be on the second floor. That would be a really long ramp. So let's just go to the first floor again. But we do want the top to be offset 2 feet. So same as stairs, it's giving you the option to sort of create part of your ramp now. And if you hover, create an extension, and then loop it around. So this is 24 feet of the inclined ramp. There's 0 remaining. I can go around and like clean this up a little bit. So it's not the best way to do that, but let's say this is the exact ramp we wanted. What you can do is you can sort of, I think, interestingly, you can go and you can look at it here, and that is what it is, but it's actually still flat. Not until you click this check will you have any idea really what's going on. So click check, boom, ramp. It has defaulted the railings that we were using earlier. It is this thick slab. So let's just say we don't want that thick slab. We can come over to the ramp edit type and actually change it from thick to solid, which is like a cast in place. Click OK. There you go. So this is my ramp that will eventually take me to nowhere at this point, but okay. The last thing we're going to do is create a schedule of landscaping. This sort of schedule creation is the same for everything. So in order to sort of create that schedule, we're going to add additional landscaping. So this is a RPC deciduous tree, red ash, great. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and tag this and see what happens. Oops, not that one. Yes. There was no tag loaded for planting. Do you want to load one? Yes. Okay, so let's go under annotations, architectural. Nope. Ah, it's under civil. Grab a planting tag, open, And now you can tag things. It doesn't know what this is. We'll just call this T1. For now, let's see what's going on with that. Let's see what this is actually. So if you'll remember, in our previous courses, we were editing types for tags. So we have, this sort of information in here. Okay. But you can actually click on it and it will eventually allow you to edit this family. And now you can go ahead and edit this. Not this, sorry. What we want is to change this or just check on it. So this is a type mark. There's one space and one sample. We could have changed things here, but a type mark is actually what I want. I wasn't very sure. So I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to load into the project and close. Sure, whatever, nothing changed. Okay, so now let's see what we got here. So I knew this was the same tree because I'm lazy and I definitely didn't pick additional trees. And they are both linked to T1. Now let's add some more plants. Site components. Let's get some other honey locusts. Sounds cool. Okay. Let's try and tag these. Okay, we'll go ahead, tag. Let's just do it there. It is still a question mark. I'm just going to call this T2. Yes. Now I will try. I don't really remember where I was tagging, but let's go ahead and grab some more tags. And that's a T2. That's T2. Is it? So this was, oops. Honey locust. I did. I just put a whole lot of honey locust whips. That wasn't my intention. Let's change this up one more time. Site. Let's change to a golden chain. Sure. It looks littler. Now we'll tag this one again. So you see it's blank every time it hits something that it doesn't know. So we'll click yes. Save. All right, so now we have 3 types of landscaping. So let's go and do our final exercise, which is creating a schedule under the View tab. So go to View, Create Schedules, Schedules and Quantities. You can, it's really just an endless array of things, but let's say we're creating a planting schedule. New construction, fine. Hit OK. So now it's asking for fields in order. So planting, we're going to do a type mark. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and say account. Wait, let's go type mark. Let's do, you can do an image. You can do type. You can do number. All of these things change with each sort of different thing. So let's take a type, see what that does. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, let's just edit this again. Just mhm. Da, da, da. Properties. No. Anyways, so, oh, here we go. Edit the fields. There we go. Edit fields under schedule. So then let's say we're going to do a type, move that over, and we definitely want a quantity count, move that over. Let's say a comment field, move that over. And now we hit OK. So now we have T1 red ash. Okay, so this is the planting schedule, perfectly fine, except for this count isn't really working. So you can always come over here and modify specific areas of this in the properties panel. So you can come over here into sorting, grouping. It pops up with this whole tabbed area to look at. What we want to do is change the sorting and the grouping. We want to sort by type mark. Type mark and type would have also been the same. And we do not want to itemize every instance. So by itemizing every instance, we're getting one red maple, one red maple. We want to know exactly how many red maples we have. So we're going to unclick that, hit OK. That's exactly what we wanted. The last thing we're going to do is create a new sheet. I'm just going to delete this. So go and make a site plan and add your planting schedule and your new site plan to that sheet. So go into plus sheet, pick the sheets you've been working on. I'm going to pick D, hit OK. I will go, click place view, and add my planting schedule. And also add my site plan. I will change the scale a little bit so that it's better for the page. And that's my site plan. I will modify all this information to make sure it's right, and I will submit this one sheet. So just so you know, we are adding that property line, adding a ramp, adding a offset and a schedule, and creating a new site plan sheet for this week's submission.